Good afternoon, everybody. Taking a break from writing. That was a great few hours of just writing. So I'm coming along very well. I took a break here and I saw a link for Corey Morgan on the Western Standard. And of course, Clinton DeVoe was on there. And I go, this guy. I always hate Clinton's publications. They're very federalist. Everything about the man is about giving all the power to Ottawa, absolutely empowering all the politicians. Never liked him ever, not once, never. Which brings me to the key point of this video. What is a conservative? Let me tell you what a conservative is. By definition, that would be every single Canadian from the third class. That's what a conservative is. Me, you, and many other people who work, pay taxes, and have to balance a budget, whether that's monthly, bi-weekly, paying all our bills, taking care of our responsibilities, and having to be accountable. That's a conservative. That's every single Canadian that I know, besides a few. And this is where Canada deviates from many, many nations. They have a first class, second class, third class citizen. In that first class is the definition of what's not conservative. That's all your politicians. They don't have to be accountable, they don't balance budgets, and they don't have to stick with budgets. That's every politician you've ever elected. And how many decades now? How many decades? When's the last time you had a federal or a provincial politician ever behave in any manner defined as conservative? There isn't one, and there never will be. It's very simple. Until we start treating Canada as a sovereign nation state, like almost every nation in the world, which means absolutely taking our federal limited constitution, disassembling it through dismemberment and redesign, giving the power of how to govern, and put into place accountability, starting with sovereignty, not giving it to a foreign state, but absolute sovereignty like almost every other nation of the world. Canada doesn't do that. No supremacy of God, and by that, I mean there is nothing that says your politicians are to be held at the same level as every other citizen. That's contrary in Canadian constitutionalism. The politician is your God. You elect one every 4 years, and they are to behave in any manner above you, above God. That's the definition right in the introduction of the Canadian Constitution. Again, not seen almost anywhere else in the world today. Nowhere. Only limited few countries, Canada being one of them. We can go on and on through all kinds of problems. The reality is the federal constitution is limited in size and scope, very limited in what's called Big C codification. No federal politician from any major party will tell you otherwise, because they, since 1948, have been fighting again and again, and absolutely since 1952, to take that crown power and place it on their own head, ruling over you as gods. That's the Canadian Federal Constitution. Is everything in the Canadian Constitution bad? No. There are some nice things. The Charter of Rights and Freedoms goes through that. However, with the supremacy of the politician and absolute loyalty to a foreign nation, you give up your rights to all those Charter of Rights as the politicians see fit. They just create acts, whether they do that somewhat transparently and through democracy, very limited, or they just say, you know what, I like colonialism, I like how it's embedded in the Constitution, I'm going to ignore democracy, and I'm going to use the colonial power of Governor General, Lieutenant Governor of all the provinces, to usurp everything appoint my own privy council, and I will make all the bills and acts go through no problem, because every senator in my upper house is sworn to me, the head politician elected by the people. I don't have to use democracy if I don't want to. That's the Constitution of Canada. There is no democracy. I've already started presenting, and I'm going to continue to present. I can't wait till next week. We're coming into April here, post this coming week here. After that, I'm going to be doing a live presentation with a whole range of Canadian citizens who get to hear from a great expert. It's going to be just excellent, done in a hotel sitting right here in Ontario, just outside of Toronto. That's coming. I may have two, and I'm going to put them up on the big screen, and you're all going to get to see it publicly for the first time on Facebook in Canadian history. First time ever. Very hard for any expert politician to come forward and say, oh no, that's not right. Today I was thoroughly unimpressed with Clinton DeVoe. He was pathetic as always. He champions that full colonial power. He even champions going on to allow the UK to usurp your sovereignty, filling the back pockets of every politician you elect federally with as much money as they need to go on with their lives as a forever first-class citizen, while you all struggle down in the third class. Some of you may be able to get to second class, but you're going to have to buy your way there through that first class. That's the Canadian system. That's colonialism. Worse than that, every province in this country, as well as every territory, has no constitution whatsoever. No written big C. They're all subject to your absolute autocratic dictator premier, who only has to line themselves ultimately when they're in a majority government with the lieutenant governor. Make arrangements with the prime minister, keep that privy council happy, and there is nothing a premier can do that will be stopped. That's reality in Canada. Zero big C codification. Something Canadians don't realize, the United States, every single 50 state runs on big C codification. Politicians cannot get away with anything in any kind of reasonable comparison to Canada. This goes on and on through many nations, including the Russia Federation, and it goes on and on beyond that as well. And the laws and penalties get more strict the further past a 3,000-mile radius you go. It is insane. Canada runs on a pure autocratic system of colonialism embedded since 1952. The world absolutely moved on, cemented in law from 1960. The best professors in the world can come forward to attest to this. It's left out in our narrative, as I had university students from the University of Toronto come up and sign on to my party after the speech I gave just off of the Faculty of Law just this last weekend to 500 citizens. And it was funny how many people from university said, I didn't know any of this. I've been in school, I got 2 degrees, or I'm going through law, I'm in my 3rd year. I've never looked at this. And sure enough, when they start looking at the publications I provide them and the experts, they start to go, oh my gosh, this is real. Where can I sign up? How long will it be? How long can the political parties, mainstream, CPC, NDP, Liberal, how long are they going to be able to go with these narratives, working for foreign interests, lining their back pockets, when I continually come forward with more and more world-renowned experts in absolute reality published, and then the politicians aren't going to be able to get any experts from any Canadian university. Nobody who would ever dare put their name on a document for a politician who would lie to all the people, and worse, lie to the academic world at large. That's what we're doing here, everybody. People like Clinton DeVoe talking about economics, talking about immigration, they can't back it up in any real data. It's all mythical. It's all a fear tactic. They all repeat the same thing from the same central party system. It wouldn't matter if you were Liberal, NDP, CPC, and the list goes on and on. Those other parties, while they may have the narrative now, without any kind of arrangement for codification and constitutionalism for the provinces, dismemberment and redesign for the federal, you will always be usurped by corruption, greed, and the absolute autocracy of the limited few, because that is the absolute codified design of Canada. And what limited rights you have, the 2/3 that you struggle with on any given election, 2/3 of those rights are to be found in your Big C codified provincial constitution. Something missing in Canada since 1867, because no politician will ever give up their full autocratic power over all of you. Not one politician ever wants to be held to account, like many nations of the world, a clear majority. Regardless of their political systems, the reality is, what does the politician give to the people? Canada gives nothing, very limited, anything at all. It gives itself right to bring forward politicians that can take from you everything. That's the reality of today, people. Share the video, get it out there. Presentations will just keep coming and coming and coming, and there's nothing any of the mainstream political parties can do about it. No, nothing at all. Thank you. Bye now.